everything should be art. It shouldn't just be like, how much money can I get from selling this cup? It shouldn't be that. It should be like, I'm going to design a shape that when somebody buys it, they
feel something.
Yeah, I feel something. Hello, and welcome to the House of Clay podcast, the number one podcast about culture, where we talk about art, film, fashion, tech, music, and a bunch of other cool stuff. But today we're going to be talking about what House of Clay is all about. So welcome to the show. I'm your co-host, Digitaljeff.
Rolando Sanchez.
Okay, let's start off with one thing. Roland. Let me ask you, Roland.
Talk to me.
What does House of Clay mean to you?
House of Clay means to me bringing your creative thoughts, ideas, concepts to life in a digital way, a virtual way.
In a virtual way.
If you want to go the extra mile, it could be physical too. But that's what it means to me. It also means opportunity for growth on a personal level for anybody, honestly, anybody. Yeah, opportunity for growth. That's what it also means to me.
Amazing.
What does it mean to you?
Yeah, so for me, also very similar to yours, but you know this like feeling as a kid when you're creating with clay?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can create almost anything you want. Anything you can imagine, you can create it. So when I was a kid, I used to be building all these like dinosaurs. I was amazing at making dinosaurs. For some reason. That was my jam. But that's what House of Clay, man. House of Clay is a space for creators to create whatever they want. And in this Web3 space, we are the incubator for your idea. If you have an amazing idea, you have a great idea, an idea you're really passionate about. It doesn't have to be an amazing idea, but you're really passionate about it and you want to make it happen. House of Clay is here to help you out. And this specific platform, this podcast, is to be talking about these projects. You know, we bring so much energy into, as artists, we bring so much energy into what we're doing every single day. And in the past, it's been up to a group of people to approve of your idea and to really like find an investor or somebody to back you up. Or, you know, sometimes you can't even have your friends and family like show support for your art. And House of Clay is here to change that. That's what House of Clay is for me. Like this idea of being able to change the way people look at art or artist. You know, like it used to be that, well, it still is. It's still seen like if you want to be successful, you got to become a doctor or you got to become a lawyer. In my culture, like even if you became a teacher, like that was ultimate. Like that was like, wow, you became a teacher.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's great becoming
an educator. It's good.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm not speaking down on it. It's more like, but when you say I want to be an artist, I want to be a filmmaker, it's like, yeah, but what do you really want to do? I'm like, that's really what I want to do. I want to make movies. Like, what's wrong with that idea? So for me, it's very personal. I'm very passionate about helping the 18-year-old version of me, and that's what we're creating with House of Clay. And this podcast specifically is to create awareness for what we're doing. As simple as that. There's no like underlying agenda. It's us really talking to the younger version of me. So House of Clay is literally a platform, an incubator, a space for my 18-year-old self. That's what it is. So I invite you guys to subscribe to the podcast. We're going to be talking everything regarding like from art to entrepreneurship to fashion, music, ideas, things that inspire us. We're going to be sharing stories from our own careers. So if you're like an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old, 30-year-old, 40-year-old, and you feel a little bit alone and don't know who to seek information from, like, be part of the movement. Become part of House of Clay.
You mentioned like if you have an idea and you know what to do with it. Where does House of Clay come in? Like, how can we help?
So House of Clay is a Web3 incubator.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So in Web3, as an artist, you own what you create. The content you put up, and it doesn't have to be content. It could be a joke, literally.
A meme or whatever.
A meme.
Yeah.
It could be
a series of memes.
A series of memes. It could be a book. It could be a story. It could be a script. You own that because you created that. And when you share it with the world, there's a price that people have to pay to access that. So House of Clay is here to facilitate that process. As simple as that. Our dev team and the people connected to House of Clay will help you fund that project. You no longer need an investor or a venture. You don't have to go to a VC firm. If you're really passionate about idea and you're part of House of Clay, we can help you get there. And there's two ways there's many ways you can participate with House of Clay, but if you go to the website right now, there's build and learn.
Mm-hmm.
So if you still feel a little bit confused about what's going on with Web3, click on learn. Go through the process of learning. We're creating these courses so you can learn what's available. And once you learn, it's time to build. Yeah. So the build is the second part of it. And you can build pretty much anything you want. If you want to write a book, if you want to be, whatever is it that you want to do, you want to make a film, movie, whatever is that, it doesn't matter. Write that idea down, think it through, then come over and let's build it.
Let's have some fun.
Let's have some fun. Let's have some fun. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think I'm really excited to be part of this. Honestly, I feel like on a personal level, like I feel like I'm in a transitional stage. I feel a lot of people my age are 25 years old, like mid-20s. I feel like people are still trying to figure out what they want to do for the rest of their lives. And I feel like House of Clay is that for me. You know, I feel like I'm excited about this project because it gives me that extra push. Because I'm not only doing something for myself, for my long-term self, but I'm gonna help people out too. You know, and I'm excited to be part of this because eventually I foresee this being like a big community of people who are just helping each other.
Yeah,
from
man.
all walks of life.
That's the beauty of it. Like, I'm 38, right? You said you're 25.
Mm-hmm.
I'm helping out the 25-year-old version of me. You're helping out the 18 version of you.
Yeah.
And we're both helping out the 18 version of us.
Yeah.
And then everybody that's part of it is going to help out that 18 version, that 19-year-old version. So that's the beauty of this, man. It's us coming together to help out ourselves. Yeah. Our younger selves.
Yeah.
You know, and we love our younger selves, bro. And you think about it, like, I think my son Jordan asked me, like, what would you tell your 18-year-old self? Like, if you had to go back and talk to him, I'd be like, I'm fucking proud of you, man. Like, you never fucking gave up. You know, 2002 is not the same as 2022. There's the resources were different. It was easier to give up in 2002 than 2022. Yeah. But just because it's easier doesn't mean we can't do anything about it. I see myself as a starving artist.
Okay.
You know, I always see myself as a starving artist. I've always understood that term. Oh, you're a starving artist. I want to be a champion of helping change that mindset. Because starving artist was given to us to accept it as, okay, that's the nature of being an artist. You have to be starving.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that term.
And when you think about it, it was given to us, and we accepted it as an artist. The first time I ever went to an actual college art course, that was one of the first things I heard. It was told that, oh, if you want to be an artist, you're gonna starve. You're not gonna have much. 99% of artists aren't gonna have much.
How the tables have turned.
Yeah, and Web3, and the reason I'm so passionate about Web3 is because it turns around the table. It says like, oh, you want my art. You want my art? You really want this? Oh, it's gonna cost you. Yeah. In fact, I don't need you. This idea that I don't need you is something that's never been done before. Never in history, humankind. This is the first time as an artist that the tables have turned. You know how many calls I get every day? People want me to work for them or work on their idea.
I would imagine that the numbers have only gone up ever since you entered this space.
And it's mind-boggling to me that I've always seen it as that.
Mm-hmm.
I've always seen it like, I know my worth. I'm willing to help you out. And now in this Web3 space, it's like, we need you. We really need you, Jeff. As an artist, like, we really need you, like Picasso. We really need you, like, we really need you. Well, you also need him in the past, but your voice wasn't like that.
Yeah.
Your voice was a little bit different. Like, if you want this here, like, it's there if you want it. I can do this with my iPhone. How many times have you heard that, Roland?
A little too many times.
Everybody will say that they can do it with their iPhone, but in Web3 space, your iPhone.
The only thing you can do with your iPhone is purchase my NFT.
Yeah. So it switches the role. And you know what the cool thing about it at all? Like, I've seen entrepreneurs that have never thought about art.
Mm-hmm.
Think about art now.
Yeah.
They're now trying to get creative. That's amazing, bro. Like, I'm talking to people about art now more than ever before. When it was all about numbers, now it's all about how can we tell this story?
Yeah, and I honestly I gravitate towards that, and I appreciate that this is being more appreciated from the masses, because art is whatever anybody wants to title it, but for me, it's a form of expression, man, and expression is important. It's important because it's really easy to bottle up emotions, ideas, and the in-betweens, and art is that outlet for so many people, for so many people. And I'm really happy and thankful to be a time and space where it's happening, like, we no longer have to.
Isn't that beautiful, bro?
Dude, it's fucking sick,
when
bro.
When you have a realization that it's happening,
yeah,
and you're there.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the most beautiful things, because a lot of the people don't realize that it's happening until it's already passed, and they look back, oh, it was happening, I fucking didn't do anything.
No, it's now. Like, the time is fucking now. Like, artists rise up, you know, and not like in a bad way, like, it's great that it's so open and new, because there's so more growth for it and so much opportunity for people to be involved in it, you know, like if you weren't an artist, like, I feel like everybody's an artist to some extent.
Everybody's an artist, bro. People just been tuning it out because of the narrative that we've been given. Mm-hmm. People, like, think about it growing up, man. How many people said, I want to grow up to be an artist? Nobody, bro.
Probably not even me.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to be an NBA player, soccer player, and then a filmmaker. Filmmaker was my third choice.
Yeah.
But nobody grows up saying that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not gonna the near future. If you ask one of my kids what they want to be when they grow up, like 50% of them are gonna say, I want to be a YouTuber or a gamer. It's changing now.
Yeah.
It's changing. I asked my niece, what do you want to be? Like, I want to be like you, Uncle Jeff. Like, my nieces look up to me.
Yeah.
So the idea of becoming an artist in humankind, I mean, talking about the Renaissance, the Fedici family, we are the new Fedici family. That's what we are. Yeah. House of Clay is that. Yeah. Like, we're helping artists fund their projects. So Beauty Web3 is simply that. Is changing the narrative of the beauty of storytelling, the beauty of creating something meaningful, wearing something nice. Like, fashion is art, man. Everything should be art. It shouldn't just be like, how much money can I get from selling this cup? It shouldn't be that. It should be like, I'm gonna design a shape that when somebody buys it,
they feel something.
I feel something. So that's the beauty of Web3. Web3 allows us to own what we create. You're no longer just creating, you own it. And if somebody wants to be associated with it, or touch it, or they want to express it, they want to have a piece of it, then there's a way for you to find to make money from that, monetize that.
Yeah. And it's more accessible now too.
It's more accessible because of the technology. Like everybody has an iPhone now.
But there's a process, and there's a process to it too. There's a different process to it. A new process to it.
There's a new process to it, correctly. Like all my favorite stories of creators are those that didn't have a chance that have made it now. Those are the new rock stars. The new rock stars, like what he smiles, is the new rock star. He's the new Drake. He is the new Steve Jobs. He might not have a $1 billion company, but he's an immigrant from Afghanistan that's made millions of dollars, built one of the biggest NFT companies. Think about that.
Yeah.
That for me is a new rock star. Can you create that? Yeah, you can create that. Can you aspire to be like that? Yes. Kids will aspire to be like Wahid.
Yup.
That is the new rock star. That's the new NBA player. That's the new, like, what we aspire to be as kids. That is the new thing. And it'll be like that for a long time, bro. And we're here to help out people to do that.
We're part of the evolution.
Like, grab my hand. Come over.
Let's go. All you need is to be passionate and believing in yourself. It's a process. But yeah, I think the main thing is just being passionate about whatever you're doing and believing in the idea.
Well, the thing is, like, it's gonna take a while. I mean, I think it'll take like 15 to 20 years.
Okay.
In 20 years' time, the greatest artists of all time will be born because they're gonna grow up. They're gonna grow up from day one of their life to feel confident about being an artist. The same way Kanye was always confident about being an artist is the way. Think about billions of kids growing up with that mindset.
Yeah.
You see, like when we grew up, we were insecure about pursuing that path. I had a teacher, Miss Fenstermaker. She was my art teacher. And she was trying to convince me to switch my major to art. In my mind, and I'm talking about 2005, it was after high school, college. Like, so it was a long time ago, 17 years ago. In my mind, I was like, starving artist. That was the only thing I could think about.
Mm-hmm.
The insecurity of being an artist, even though I was an artist.
Yeah.
Like, that's not gonna exist in the near future. So if you're seeing amazing movies, if you're reading amazing books right now, wait in 30, 40 years, bro. Like,
you're gonna really see.
Yeah, that's gonna be the new renaissance. Jeez. That'll be the digital renaissance.
I mean, you've been in the space for a hot minute, just from what you've seen. Who are some of the GOATs, like in the space? Who are some of the people that you see and you're like, holy shit, like this person understands what's going on and they see the long term of everything that's going on in the NFT Web3 space.
I mean, I'm the GOAT, but I think for me, the GOAT right now and will be forever the GOAT in this time period. So when they say who is the GOAT of 2015 to 2023, the GOAT is Gary Vee. Gary Vee is the GOAT.
Shout out.
Shout out to Gary Vee, man. Done so much for the space. He's done so much for artists. He's done so much for so many people, man. His impact is beyond what he imagines what his impact is. I don't think he understands. Like, he does, but he doesn't. He's probably at the level of like Kanye West. Mm-hmm. Think about a guy that, I mean, no offense to Gary, but he doesn't have any skills. Motherfucker can't draw, and he's sold an NFT collection. And because of that, I give him so much credit. His self-belief, the way he pursues ideas and projects, the way he speaks with so much conviction, he reminds me of Kanye West. Like, he does, like, even though he doesn't, like, he has a different form of artistry.
Yeah, it's a different space. Yeah.
And with that being said, there's like this part of me that says, thank you, Gary Vee. I'm accepting the torch now. Let an artist take over.
Yeah.
Let somebody that's like, when I think about what I represent, I'm the ideal person, artist that has gone through all the different sectors of the space.
Yeah.
from the development side of technology to the actual creating of films, stories, characters, all the paint, like everything that you can think of when it comes to art. I've been part of it.
That's
I'm
what Jeff
obsessed
is.
with it.
That's what Jeff is.
I'm the
Digital Jeff.
That's what Digital Jeff is. Yes, exactly. So Gary Vee's the GOAT all the way to I'll give him another year and then I'll take over from there.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm the GOAT. If you're watching this in 2024, I'm the GOAT now.